All right, so I got a question. If you're an American and you call yourself something other than American, first off, I just want to say pull up your panties and join America. You're literally an American, right? And if you don't want to be an American, then go to whatever country that you want America to be like, because I think that that would be the best way to solve your problems. Because the reality is I grew up in America. I've been here my whole life. I've been to tons of other countries, and I see that a lot of countries suck. Okay, they have problems. They have all types of issues. And what I know is when we have good politicians, good people in power, this is the best country on this planet. We also offer the most amount of benefits to the citizens that are here. And I think there are people that want to change America for good. And there's a lot of good ideas. Some of those are bad ideas, but there's also a lot of people, especially politicians, that want us to become like the countries that they came from. That is what I think we should fight against. Because I don't want America to become ruled by Muslims or to be part of a different country like North Korea or China or any of those kind of things, because I don't want to live there. And if I wanted to live there, I would just go there. Now, do I want to visit those countries? Do I want to experience those kind of things? Yeah, of course. They have great cultures. Some of them do. Some of them are used to that. Just like America, we have an incredible culture. I know tons of people from all over the planet that have come here to America that are now American citizens. And I think all those people came here for a reason, because they wanted to have a better life. Those are the kind of people that I want in America. I don't want just a bunch of freaking idiots who just run over here that want to use all of our resources and get everything for free. They don't want to get jobs. They don't want to pay bills. They don't want to build our economy. They just basically want to suck on the tit of the system. Those are the people I don't like. Now, I don't know who those people are unless I see those individual people. So I'm not making some kind of a like generic racist claim. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying exactly what I'm saying, and I mean exactly what I'm saying. So you can take that any way you want and turn it into anything you want, just like idiots do all the time. But that's not what I'm talking about. I want good people here in America that love America, that want to make America strong, that want to build families here, that want to do positive things for the people of America. And that's exactly what I mean. And that's what every American should want. I want to make our systems better. I want to have better economies. I want to have better military. I want to be able to protect our families, our streets, everything like that. That's what we need. We don't need politicians who want to create systems where they only have power and they can control everything, and they want to have a bunch of bums in the street shooting up meth and crack and everything else and just living a horrible life and ruin everybody and all that kind of stuff. That's not what I want. That's a horrible life. And if those politicians want that life, then they should go to those places. They should live there. They should do those things. And us as Americans and as citizens of America, we should do our best to make sure that who we vote for are going to be the kinds of people that are going to make America a great company. Not a great company, but you know, it is what it is. So if you make your country the best country you can make it, everybody will want to come there and live there because they want to make it great. And that should be the point of everything. What kind of idiot walks around on the street and thinks to themselves, hey, this country sucks. I'm going to make it a bad country. I want a bunch of bums everywhere. Everybody should be able to do drugs and freaking murder each other all over on the streets and beat each other up and do whatever they want to do and blah, 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 blah. Do you know who thinks that? Freaking morons. Okay? So if that's the way you think, that's all I need to know about you. You're a moron, or you're probably mentally incapable, because normal people are like me. All right? I'm a normal person. I'm a pretty normal person. I want to have a family. I want to be able to own a house. I want to have a car. I want to have a job. I want to live a normal life. I want to be able to go out and eat. I want to be able to walk on the streets. And I don't want to have to worry about seeing a bunch of freaking people crapping on the ground and living in tents everywhere, getting free services from our government, especially if they're not from America, okay? Now, that's a different situation. If we're talking about Americans who are Americans living in America, yes, I think we should help those people first. I don't think we should help people from other countries at all, unless we've helped every single last person in America. Why? There's nonprofit organizations that can help other countries. There's other countries that can help other countries. And you know what we should do? We should allow the best people that want to come to America to come here for a specific reason, to build a family and to build America. They got to learn English, all right? They got to integrate into our society, not to change our society, not to turn us into different kinds of nations. We are a Christian nation. That is what we were built upon. Maybe that is changing. Maybe that can change. But bringing a bunch of people in from other countries that believe in other religions, that want to speak other languages and all that other kind of stuff, that is obviously the way to change it into a different country. I'm an American, and I want it to stay the way that it is. I want my kids to have opportunities, and I think all of my kids and any other American kids should have the same options as before other people that come to this country. So if they want to go to school and they want to become a rocket scientist, I think they should have the first right of opportunity. That makes total sense. Why would we give that opportunity to somebody from a different country? That's stupid. That does not make sense at all, especially because those people, guess what they do? They go back to the other country, they help their country, they build nuclear weapons, they build bombs, they do all types of stuff to go help their other country. And all you have to do is look at the history and look at what's happening. That has happened. That's the proof. That's how simple it is. That's not even worth arguing about. And that's what I see right now. And again, you know what? I'm in like 1990 something still. So I'm looking at this world and I'm thinking to myself, how did we get here? How did we allow all these morons to decide what we're going to allow to happen? And they're destroying America. You know what happens when America gets destroyed? Just look at history and what happened before. You ever heard of a country called Germany, who was taking over the world? And we had to step up. Obviously, it wasn't just America that did all the work, but we had to help. And you have Japan that invaded America, which basically pushed us in. And then we kicked the shit out of everybody, and that's what we had to do. That is what you get when you have good people in countries that want to support their countries and that are willing to work hard. It's good people. That's what you want. All right. It's not any different than anything that's happened since the beginning of time. Braveheart comes to mind. Okay. You have something stupid that happened. You got people that did dumb things. And then you had one guy that stands up, and that probably wasn't really like this, but this is basically how all of this happens. You got somebody who stands up and says, no, we're not going to do this. I want this country to be strong. That's what we get. That's what starts happening. That creates a movement. Then all of a sudden, we have a bunch of people that step up, they pull up their panties, and they decide, no, this is bullshit. We're not doing it this way. That sounds stupid. Okay? And that's basically where we're at right now. We went through years of everybody screwing up and corrupting the system, talking about stuff that's literally retarded. Okay? And I mean everything that's literally retarded. I went to I had to fill out forms for all my paperwork, and they asked me if I was a man or a woman or an if or an other or like 50 other things. Do you know what that's called? Bullshit. Okay? That's a personal choice, and I got no problem with that. So first of all, you got to understand there's a difference between systems that are real and fake and things that are personal. And if you want me to call you a monkey, I have no idea to know that that's what that is without you telling me first. I'm going to tell you right now that I believe there's a man, there's a woman, and maybe there's some kind of other, but that other is so rare. That's in that 1 to 5% of all this bullshit that's happening on this planet that everybody screams and talks about that is literally retarded, okay? If you're a member of the 1% or the 5% society, you don't matter. And none of us should be caring about you. We should be caring about the peons like me, like you, that are in that 98% or whatever it is. If you're part of a tiny, tiny, tiny minority, then what you should do is be happy that you can just exist. That's it. Don't get in my face. Don't tell me how I got to live because I have to live based on your standards. That sounds stupid to me. And guess what happened? You guys screamed so loud, you created such a big problem that within 2 years, you destroyed everything you worked for. because that's literally where we're at now. All that's being removed. And I think that as Americans, and I'm speaking from America because I'm an American, I think we should pass laws that destroy that kind of stuff. We don't need any of that. Man, I don't need my life complicated by a bunch of people that want to play video games and want to live in a video game. Just be that in your personal own space. If you want to walk out in public and pretend you're a dog or whatever and wear a tail and blah, 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 I don't care if you play dress up, as long as it doesn't affect me. Don't tell me I have to treat you a specific way or call you a certain thing or whatever else that you want, because that's bullshit, man. I'm a normal human. You're a normal human. Whatever you think, you're probably mental. That's what it comes down to. And if you want to live that way and it doesn't affect me, I got no problems with you. That's the reality. But when you tell me that I have to be different because you have problems, that's where we have the problem. That's what creates situations like Braveheart, where we're in one right now, where now every normal person is coming out of the woodworking and claiming bullshit. And that's where we're at. So you push the envelope too far. This is how we got where we are. Now you're going to lose everything you wanted because people are going to stand up, and nobody wants that stuff anymore. Okay? And it's not me. All right? It's not what I'm saying. It's the way that you act as a human on this planet. I'm not doing anything except for expressing my opinion, and I'm talking about how I am as a normal human, and everybody I know pretty much is a normal human. I know plenty of people that are gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, a lot of cross-dressers, guys that dress up as women, blah, 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 blah. I've seen them all over the place. I've traveled all over the world. I've lived and been in massive, not communities, but cities. So I've experienced it all. And I treat everybody the same because that's what I think everybody should do. But when those people walk up to me, a lot of times they're like, oh, you got to call me this. Oh, I'm a man. Oh, I'm a girl. And like all this weird kind of stuff. You know what I just do to that? I say, no, thanks. I'm not interested in that stuff. You want me to be nice to you, be nice to me. And it starts with you. If you walked up and got in my face, I'm here to buy a cherry tomato. Okay, that's all I want. That's a cherry tomato. I'm not calling that thing some kind of freaking space alien tomato from the planet Pluton and some other BS crap, because that doesn't make sense. That's how straightforward that is. That is why we should pass laws, and we should make sure that we have a woman, we have a man, and we keep all of that other bullshit as separate things. Because how do you expect to have doctors take care of people when it's full of crap? Because that's basically how it is right now. When you look at me, look at me real quick, okay? When you look at me, I'm 100% a man. I could never be a woman. I could get boobs. I could chop off my penis. I could do all those kind of things. Am I ever going to be a woman? And I mean right now, currently, with the technology we have, no. If that happens in the future or something like that, and like no one could tell, fine. But if you want to just be transgender and be a femboy or a femme girl or whatever that's called, a cross-dresser, all that kind of stuff, more power to you. That's 100% up to you. That's the freedom of being an American. That's it. That's the freedom of being a human on this planet. I got no problems with that. But if you try to force me into what you want, then I should be able to force you into what I want. And that is where you're going to run into a problem. And the reason you're going to run into that problem is because there's way more normal people than there is people like you. So why create some type of a tyrannical system where you're screaming and yelling at me and trying to create a system and being a jackass? Because that's all you're being, all right? Just be happy to be you. And if that's what you want, be that way. And if you don't want to be that way and you have some kind of a problem or whatever, perfect. The other thing I think that we should put into the system is if you want the government to pay for that, or if you want me to pay for that, I would say no thank you. If you can't pay for that on your own, sucks, okay? Because I have actual problems, cancer in my brain, and I think those are the people that should be number one on the list. People with real problems, not people with fake problems, made up problems. They want to act a certain way, be a certain way, not people that just eat too many Cheetos and whatever. People that are having actual real problems. I think we should help all of them first, and everybody else should have to deal with it on their own, or they should have to do something different. That's how straightforward that is. And guess what? We live in a world that has tons and tons of countries, and some countries are going off the deep end and they want to support all that. So go there and get it done. That's pretty straightforward. I think that sounds pretty straightforward, at least. And who knows? You know what? I'm a little mental because I had my brain cut out. So maybe everything I'm saying is wrong. I guess you can tell me in the comments. Is that what it's called? Comments on what I'm saying is normal or right or whatever else. But at least at this point, I feel like I'm the normal person and you're the person that is not normal. I don't know. Who knows? Have a great day.